Thank you all for being part of this, I think, a very important conference that Anurag and Ruhail have put together. I've been dipping in and out of it, which I think is one of the big advantages of being any place, as Deepak said, or I think Uday Kotak said, geography is history. You can be wherever you are, dip into one conference, go to another, continue to do your work from home. And this, in many ways, is what everybody's trying to cash in to. But does it make for an economy? Does this new virtual digital world that we're looking at it, will it propel the experiential economy? And I think that's the million-dollar question to be asked. I remember when lockdown happened last year, March 20th, Vipul, a member of then EMA's executive council, came to us and said, I really want to do something. Can we do a 24-hour or 12-hour music program like tomorrow, on the Sunday, on the voluntary lockdown day? And we all looked at him aghast as to how is this going to be pulled together. But Deepak Pawar, whose presentation you just saw, who's always the whiz behind the back end bit, and he and his colleagues really brought it together and got me thinking. And thereafter, pretty soon, 4th of April, we began our JLF online series. So we took the Jaipur Literature Festival online with a new series called JLF Brave New World. And initially, I kept asking my colleagues, so, who's watching? And I harassed the living daylights out of them for the first month or so, because the numbers still weren't coming in. I wasn't getting reports. But by the end of the month, when the first reports started coming in, my eyes opened in astonishment. And when the series finished, the JLF Brave New World first season finished, we had 4.8 million views at an average of about 18 minutes per view. And that really, again, got us thinking, how do we make this? Sure, we were first movers in the space of taking our festivals online. They did really well. For us at the Jaipur Literature Festival, physically, we used to get my maximum capacity was about 500,000 people over 5 days. And here we were looking at 32,000 people at an average watching an episode, whereas earlier it used to be maximum capacity of 12 or 13,000 people physically. When we went on to do JLF London, JLF British Library, there again, we were astonished. In a physical year, in 2019, JLF at British Library, which was done over 3 venues, plus British Museum and Aga Khan venue, etc. We used to have an average capacity of, say, 1,200 to 1,500 an hour. So over the 2.5 days, we got about 20,000 people physically through our space. And here, with this happening online, online, we received 450,000 views for our content for the JLF British Library. And then this year in 2021, when we took Jaipur Literature Festival again online, the last numbers that we've got is we had 23.9 million people who had viewed one or the other for 140 episodes that we had during the festival itself. So it completely changed the scale of what we were looking at. What it also did is got us thinking, and we liked what you saw with Deepak. We created pretty much a virtual space. We recreated Digi Palace, which is the home to the festival. We had a little icon of me doing namaste as I normally do and welcome people in the morning. You then had an experience of making your way to the front lawn or making your way to the Darbar Hall or the Mughal tent. You could shop, you could buy your books, you could visit the exhibition stalls. It created that experience that Deepak was talking about. But the question I have is, was it experientially different? And to us, what really came home is when we did JLF Boulder, Colorado, where again, we get, 20, 25,000 people coming through our doors over 3 days. at the Boulder, Colorado library. People fly in from other parts of America, and they fly in to meet each other. They fly in to listen to the authors. They fly in to party in the evening. They fly in because Boulder is a beautiful place to come to. And when we did our statistics at the end of the festival, we realized that while we had increased, I mean, we did the digital festival over 10 days, a couple of hours every evening, America Central Time, which allowed for West Coast, East Coast, and Mountain Time to catch up. And we had 99% new audiences. We had 250,000 people who viewed Boulder. But what was interesting was that only 1% were audiences who used to come live. And in many ways, that gave us hope that the actual experience of coming to something live hasn't gone far and still will be alive and kicking. When we did Jaipur Literature Festival in January, what we did is we shot some sessions live with a very limited audience of, at that point, the COVID protocol was 50. And we did all our introductions in Jaipur against historic monuments to give people a sense of the environment. And I think that is important looking forward. In everything that Deepak has shown, stuff that Sabas talked about in the morning, other people who've shown their products, what I haven't seen experientially is how is this product different from any product being shared, whether it's in America or Singapore or Australia or from Dubai. When we create our exhibition platforms or our conference platforms, why haven't we been able to convert them into having an Indian look, a craft look, a look that celebrates our color, our noise, our excitement, our festivals, our incredible sense of design? Why is it still glass and chrome and exhibition spaces which are neutral? And I will actually use the word neutered, meaning it becomes the common divide rather than making it something that is an experience to come to. And that's where I feel that experiences will always score over the digital platform, because that's what happens in an experience. Even if it's chaotic, even if it's not as slick as what Deepak showed us with Bridgestone being sort of inaugurated in the way that it was done or launched in the way that it was done, you still have that sense of wanting to be in a place physically. Very interestingly, last week I was in an experiment with a bunch of colleagues and collaborators in the Bay Area, the museum, the Bay Area Science Museum, and a whole host of people. We all work together, the universities there. And what we did is that we teleported a 3D image of a person, in this case it was me, 10 feet into somebody's drawing room. So I was sitting in their chair and having a conversation for 10 minutes with them. The teleporting is still some way away. To me, it still left me cold because I still didn't get that feeling that I was actually in the same place as the person I was having a conversation with. So while it looked like we were there because I was teleported into their drawing room as part of this experiment, it still didn't feel real. It didn't give me a sense of I'm seeing this person in his environment, which allows many of us to read a situation differently, be it during a meeting when you're seeing somebody's body language or eye movement or gestures, looking at their attentive focus, etc. The other problem that we've seen with digital more and more is that, especially as people are now zoomed out, you put your video off, you're going to be doing some other stuff, you're not focused, you're not concentrated. And sure, you can say that even in an experiential space, today, the phone being the phone, after listening to somebody online or in real for 30 seconds, you'll then go back to checking your WhatsApp messages or Twitter or Insta or Facebook, sure. But if something is captivating and enormously exciting and marries with it the technology that we seem to have tapped into, I think therein lies the future. The million-dollar question again is, so where's the money? And is there money at all? Deepak has talked about the services that they provided. Sabas talked about in the morning that this is a whole new world. But are people being able to pay their bills? Are people being able to hire in skill sets? Are people being able to maintain their staff, etc.? The interesting thing is that when we went into this journey, we too thought that, we're going to have to ride out this year with no revenue, no income, because who pays for digital? The interesting thing is when we ended last financial year, just from digital, all our digital products, we did total up just in India for our India festivals. I'm not talking about what we do internationally, 7.5 crores in terms of digital revenue. And remember, it's not that we are commissioned to do anything. We create our own products, we create our own festivals. In creating them, we drive and try and reach our audiences, and we find ways to be able to either charge an audience or build value for a brand or a sponsor to be able to put out money for us. And it's worked. This year, I'm finding it much more of a challenge because there was a sense in February, March that we're opening up, digital is over. And every now and then, that's what you hear. Sure, the second wave came and decimated everything and everybody. But I was listening to our colleagues in the UK, and I was listening to our colleagues in the US and in Singapore and in New Zealand and in Australia. Everything there is back outdoors. Nobody is on what we are right now, Zoom and digital. And I think the way we bring these two together, I know for us, across our festivals, east through west, north through south, we will continue to be a physical and digital product. We will never go back to only being a physical product, because I think there is a huge, enormous technology-driven future in terms of digital. But I think you will see the minute there's a possibility of mask off, going into a space, and that's still some way away from us in India and in many countries. But the minute that happens, I think you'll see a resurgence. And then the key is going to be, how do we try and match this together? How do we continue to do what we're doing today in the digital framework? And how do we marry it with a physical experience, making it better, more accessible, more glamorous, better looking, better driven events, on time, on schedule, and of course, accessible to everybody across the world. And I think the magic and the money both are in this space. So I'm going to stop there because I was given 10 minutes. I think I've gone 4 minutes over time. I know Ruhail very kindly said, don't worry, you can go over time, but it's okay. Let's stick to the timing. So thank you all. And if there are questions, I'm not sure how those are handled, but I'm happy to take any offline or at a later. Thank you.